The New York Rangers defeat the Vegas Golden Knights by a score of 4-1. This was their last game for a bit. They won't play for another 10 days as they head into the All-Star break. And the story of this one was Jaroslav Halak, who is he's been under the radar lately for how good he's been. He got off to a really poor start. This is a veteran he's been around for a very long time. Halak, 37 years old, and he's really the perfect backup because he knows his role. This isn't like an Alexander Georgiev situation where you could tell that he was frustrated that he wasn't the guy. And it's just that helps. And look, maybe in Georgiev, he's been pretty solid for the Colorado Avalanche this year, but Halak knows that he is the backup, and he is now on a 5-game winning streak. And this is after a really poor start. He was definitely the star of this game. And really, but early on, he was making a lot of key saves to keep the game scoreless. And it sucks. The one goal he gave up wasn't a great goal, but really made up for it with a bunch of great saves. He made 33 saves on the night. So that was key. And his numbers are, looking a lot more respectable now. He is 6-6-1 and with a 9.08 save percentage and a 2.56 goals against average. That's fine. And he, struggled last year. Yeah, I would say he struggled last year with Vancouver. And if he can get back to what he was doing with the Boston Bruins, that would be great. So Halak was awesome. And some of the players that I've been, hard on lately were better tonight, namely Vincent Trocheck. Trocheck with a goal and an assist. That line was pretty good. Trocheck centering Kreider and Goodrow. Chris Kreider scores his 20th goal of the season in his 700th NHL game. And, Kreider, I think he can use the break. Clearly, I don't think he's playing at 100%, but it was good to see him contribute. And, Kreider, he was just kind of in the right place. It was a shot by, honestly, if it didn't deflect off Kreider, it might have still went in on a Trocheck backhand. But either way, I thought that line was buzzing in the first period. Kid line wasn't as noticeable, but yet Philip Chytil scores again, a key goal by Chytil. So he's just been really tremendous. It was a 16th goal of the season. And, everything is on the up and up with him. And, yeah, I think the first line, there's still a struggle there. And, Panarin, he had his opportunities, but I still think, the Panarin issue still exists. And, it wasn't as the line was horrible, but, yeah, certainly the kid line, you kind of know what you have there right now, and it was a good night for the Trocheck line. But, yeah, Zibanejad centering Panarin and Vesey had their opportunities, but, again, I think that with Panarin, that's going to be a big situation that they have to figure out. And, the fourth line didn't play a whole lot. Lecision, I guess, did. I noticed that Lecision was out there after, whether it be, I guess, some power play, after some special team situations, Lecision was kind of out there on the next shift. So there's some level of trust that Glenn has. It was also Lecision's first game against his former team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Will Cooley got into a fight tonight. So in his second game, his first game at MSG, gets into a fight. It seems like he'll be sent back down, which makes sense. He actually made the AHL All-Star team. And I don't know if he'll necessarily be back when they come back from break. I think that's up in the air. I certainly think that Kravtsov will be back in the lineup, and maybe Sammy Blais will come back from his conditioning assignment. So we'll see what the lineup looks like when they get back. But Cooley, showed that he, Kolasar is a big dude, and he held his own in there. Cooley, they were kind of going blow for blow. Pretty good fight. And you don't really see, honestly, it made me think, you don't really see too many fights these days. Even when Ryan Reeves was on the team, it's not like there were really that many. But, Halak outplayed Adin Hill. And Hill played all right. Hill made 30 saves on 33 shots. But for the Rangers, let's get into it. The first period I thought Vegas was the better team. I really thought in this game, Vegas, 4-1 is a very misleading. And obviously, one of the goals was empty net goal, but 4-1 is definitely misleading. This was a pretty even game, and if anything, I kind of would have given the edge to Vegas. Halak made a lot of really good saves, and in the first period, a lot of odd man rushes, but Halak was up for the challenge. And then Goodrow takes a holding penalty, on Jack Eichel at 11:43, but the penalty kill does a good job. They kill it off. And towards the end of the first, where the Rangers get a couple of goals. At 16:08, it's Kreider, his 20th of the year from Trocheck. This is a backhand shot by Trocheck, deflected off the stick of Kreider and in. Trickles past Adin Hill. And the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. And then at 19:17, that line scores again. It's Trocheck, his 14th goal of the season from Goodrow and Lindgren. A nice pass by Goodrow from behind the net. Trocheck one times it past Hill. And the Rangers take a 2-0 lead into the second period. And in the second period, 2 seconds in, off the faceoff, Kolasar and Cooley drop the gloves. And so they go off for 5 minutes apiece. And then at 1:14, Panarin trips William Karlsson. Rangers kill that one off. So Panarin takes the penalty there, but it doesn't come back to bite, and it's 2-0. Then at 4:57, the Golden Knights score. There was a questionable no call where Lafreniere was taken down. They certainly could have called that a penalty. And then Kessel moves in and scores past Halak. His 9th goal of the season from Carrier and Karlsson. And this was one that Halak would like to have back. Not a great goal, but you certainly forgive him for everything else he did on the night. So it's 2-1 Rangers, and that score would remain going to the third. And for me, it felt like a game that the Rangers, especially considering they've kind of haven't held on to leads in certain spots, it felt like a game that Vegas might tie it up. But the Rangers kind of held on, and they had a chance to take a 3-1 lead on the power play. Nicholas Hague hooks Lafreniere, but the Rangers power play was unsuccessful. And again, that number one power play unit is stale and not getting it done. Like, that second unit, now granted, the second unit was the one that drew the penalty, so I understand why they didn't start it out, and I noticed also that there was a moment where the first unit could have gone off the ice and they stayed on. Fox had gone off and Keandre Miller replaced him, but the other 4 players stayed, and it was like frustrating. It's like, get off. I understand why they're staying on, but it's things like that. So like in situations like that, like you can't really blame, that's not like Gallant's fault in that situation. That's the players staying on the ice. The Rangers don't score there, and it stays 2-1. But eventually, at 14:20, it's Chytil. Scores his 16th goal of the year from Schneider and Harper. So Ben Harper, who, again, I didn't think Harper was all that great tonight. He does get a secondary assist there, and, he gets that 2-year extension. But it's Filip Chytil, who he's one of the few guys on this team that isn't afraid to shoot. He isn't afraid to be selfish. There's too many players in this team that like to pass the puck and they lose opportunities. Chytil doesn't care. Filip Chytil, there's a situation where he went to the net, and I believe it went off of Shea Theodore's. It was one of the Vegas Golden Knights defensemen. I think it was Theodore. Goes off his skate and in. And that's just a good job by Chytil, putting himself in a position where good things can happen. And that was a huge goal. That was, when that goal happens, you're feeling good. And so the Rangers get that important 2-goal lead back, 3-1 Rangers. And then Artemi Panarin gets an opportunity. It was a misplay by Hill, and Panarin somehow didn't score. Went off the post. I don't know how. But then Panarin does draw a penalty. So good job by Artemi. Braden McNabb holds him. The power play doesn't get anything going. Again, those power play struggles continue. But the Rangers, there was, a potential shorthanded opportunity for Vegas, but nothing came of it. And then Jimmy Vesey ices it with an empty net goal. Vesey's 9th goal of the year from Schneider. So 2 assists for Braden Schneider the night. I thought he played pretty well. And the Rangers win it 4-1. And it's nice to get that win going into the break. Feel good about things. They're 27-14-8. And, ever since that Trouba Chicago Blackhawk helmet toss game, you start after that. I guess it was home against St. Louis tonight. I think they're somewhere around like 16-4-3 in their last, 23 or so games. The point is they've been playing very well for a while now in the win-loss department. I think that record may be just slightly misleading, but when you think about it, they haven't really gotten smoked in many games. I mean, I'm sure that maybe there was a couple in there, but the Rangers, they're finding their stride in terms of just finding ways to win. And the goaltending's been a lot better, whether that be Shesterkin or Halak. In this case, it's Jaro Halak, and you feel good for him. Look, his career could have theoretically been at a crossroads. Now, it would have been tough for the Rangers to get, he had a no-move clause. It would have been tough to just, rid themselves of him. I mean, it could have been done, but he's turned it around. And now, when he's in there, you don't feel so bad about it. Whereas early in the year, it's like, fuck, all right, Halak's in there. Let's see what we can do. You don't feel like that anymore. That's a really good thing. and it takes the pressure off of Shesterkin. So, again, Rangers go into the break with a nice victory. They win 4-1, and coming up will be some more Western Conference home games, as the next three will be February 6th, 8th, and 10th, home against Calgary, Vancouver, and Seattle. So we'll see how they do against those Pacific Division opponents. Again, Rangers win at the Garden against the Vegas Golden Knights thanks to Jaroslav Halak by a score of 4-1.